Shalom, giving all honor, all praise, and all glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashim, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashim, Rachak Wadash, double understood the elder apostles and bishops of the great millstone that rule well. And as always, peace, blessings, and salutations to the tabernacle of David, the hopeful elect that are scattered abroad across the four winds of the earth. Now, this panel right here, the women that you see on this panel, you're going to hear from a few of them. What comes out of their mouth is going to prove that most of these modern Western women are totally out of order and very delusional. And this is where we at because the serpent, who rules the planet, he's the one that's, set up the order within his own society. So he created that monster in what we see in these women. All right. A lot of years of indoctrination, the push of feminism into their mental, it got these women bugged out. So they don't even understand the importance of family, the concept of marriage, the actual traits and qualities to have, to be a mother, to be a wife. They're just taught early on to just be, independent, to chase a career, to be self-indulgent, selfish. So this little discussion on this panel, a lot of these women, they really are lost. All right. And society, ruined their mentalities. There's another reason why this place gotta be put to an end. So I'm gonna play some of this video so y'all can listen and hear the delusion. All right. And how out of order our women in this current setup is they're totally out of pocket, man. So let's take a listen.
With feminism, and she crazier than y'all. Y'all not as crazy as white women.
Let me bring it back.
What makes it?
Because the woman with the hair hat, with the blonde hair hat in the top left corner, they was talking about divorce and how, the women are always the ones divorcing the men. They the ones that leave the men. So something is wrong with the man if all these women are leaving the men. And then she had the nerve to bring up the so-called white woman, saying basically she does it too. She leaves y'all as well. All right. And something told me, I'm like, looking at that blonde hair hat, she looks up to the so-called white woman. All right. Any woman that'll do that to her hair, knowing that it's not her natural hair color and it's not her hair at all, she definitely have insecurity issues. Okay. But anyway, let me run it back. Jake with the beard, he was cooking for the most part. I don't agree with everything he said, but he was cooking for the most part.
No. If I'm a leader and you don't follow, we ain't going nowhere. Y'all the worst followers right now. We're great leaders, but you don't want to follow the leader. You want to be in control of how you control.
And like I said earlier, everybody be divorcing too. Everybody's been divorcing, not only black women, white women, or twice as likely to divorce y'all as the black women. So it must be something with y'all leadership that's not hitting.
So you think the reason why these men are elected
if everybody
not to marry you,
some ain't hitting.
So you think the reason?
Oh no, we hitting now.
No, I'm saying the white women are twice as likely to leave as the black women, but inevitably everybody be leaving y'all. So some must not be hitting.
What makes it that you give love?
Now, yeah, I mean, and that's out of order. All right. It's not even supposed to be that way. Women are not to leave their husbands. As long as you are in a marriage with a man, you're under that man. All right. And you're not given the authority to leave him. Now, if you separate yourself from him, according to what the Bible say, let's go to Yahweh Shai real quick. This is on Matthew 19. And I'm going to start at verse, I'll start at 3. This is when the Pharisees was trying to, test him, trying to insult his intelligence. Matthew 19:3 says, the Pharisees also came unto him, tempting him and saying unto him, is it lawful for a man to put away his wife for every cause? And this is dealing with the man, him having power to be able to put away his woman. You never read about where there's a permission, all right, for women to leave her husband or to divorce her husband. You never see that nowhere in the scriptures. It's not biblical. It's not law. It's very out of order for a woman to leave her husband. All right. So it says, verse 4, and he answered and said unto them, have you not read that he which made them at the beginning made them male and female, and said, for this cause shall a man leave father and mother, and shall cleave to his wife, and they twain shall be one flesh. Wherefore they are no more twain, but one flesh. What therefore the Most High have joined together, let no man put asunder. They say unto him, why did Moses then command to give a writing of divorcement and to put her away? He said unto them, Moses, because of the hardness of your hearts, suffered you to put away your wives. All right, so the Most High allowed Moses to add that into the law because of the hardness of our people's hearts. All right, and if I can get a quick precept, let's go to the book of Sirach, 17 and verse 16. And it says, every man from his youth is given to evil, neither could they make to themselves fleshy hearts for stony. All right. When your heart represents your mind. Okay. And, our people, they harden themselves to the Most High's instructions, and they tend to do what they want to do. Being very impudent, stubborn. So things, go wrong because of our nature, being in this damn flesh, which is evil. All right. And it yearns to sin. So the Most High had Moses, knowing how our people were going to be, he suffered Moses to add it into the law. All right. If she's not going to, listen, she's going to, harden her neck and be stubborn and be defiant. Well, you can put her out, put her away. All right. Let me get this also in the Apocrypha. Sirach 25 and 26, it says, if she go not as thou wouldest have her, cut her off from thy flesh and give her a bill of divorce and let her go. All right. No, the main reason you would want to do that is if, you suspect that your woman, she ain't keeping it trill with you. She, she's out there and out, and, you have your suspicions about it. We had a law when you read the book of Numbers called the jealousy test or the jealousy potion, where if you suspected your woman of being unfaithful, you would give her, you would take her to the priest, and the priest would, he would make this potion and cast some dirt in it, and he would make her drink it. And if she wasn't telling the truth and she was out there messing around, then her thigh would rot and her belly would swell. All right. But that effect wouldn't happen if she was actually faithful and true. All right. And in that case, you don't divorce her. All right. But from the beginning, the order was, when a man and a woman got together, when they were married, when they became one flesh, they were together until the death. All right. So going back to what Yahweh Shai said, Since Moses, because of the hardness of your heart, suffered you to put away your wives, but from the beginning it was not so. And I say unto you, whosoever shall put away his wife, except it be for fornication, and shall marry another, have committed adultery. And whoso marry of her which is put away doeth commit adultery. All right. And a lot of these women, when they leave their marriage and go and deal with other men, and that's exactly what they do it for. They do it for the freedom to go and hop on the CC, you know, and then that don't work out. And then she exit that one, and then she go and get with the next one, and then that don't work out. But yet the accountability is just non-existent. She still, no matter how many relationships, won't look in the mirror. She'll blame it all on the men, just like you hear in this woman. Are they all leaving you? Something is not hidden, because everybody's leaving you. You know. So here she go. And now she's trying to use the so-called white woman, right? The so-called white woman, she's not the prototype wife. She's not the prototype woman, all right, to put on a pedestal. You know, she's the most coddled and exalted woman because the Edomites have been in power for over a half century now. All right. And a lot of men still desire her for her femininity. All right. She's a bit more pleasant, so to speak. Not like you so-called masculine black women. But she have her problems too. And really none of these women, despite what nationality she is, needs to be pedestalized. If you were just a Western woman in general and you have the Western way of thinking and influence and behavior, you're just not mother or wife material at all, period. All right? And there's a reason why a lot of men are leaving the country. And a lot of these women making videos complaining about why men are not approaching them. Why aren't men coming up and, asking, what my name is, or why they not showing up to the club, or why they not doing this and doing that? And they still refuse to look at themselves. No accountability. Anyway, let's keep listening.
You'll talk about Karen, you'll talk about white society when it's convenient, but then you'll support her in effort with us when you know it's probably because of cultural issues where she don't relate to us and she might leave for the same reason you leave.
Well, I'm trying to show you.
No, hold on. Let me land real quick. Y'all copied her with feminism, and she crazier than y'all. Y'all not as crazy as.
That's exactly what happened. You so-called black woman, all right, you was living fine with your husband and your family. All right, this is back when you still had a family structure. You was living fine. You didn't have to go to work back then. He went to work. You just had to stay at home and make sure the kids are straight, make sure the house was straight. Then you turn around and you listen to the damn so-called white woman, the CIA op, and she pretty much got your attention with this little movement crafted by the CIA, funded by the elite. All right, presented to you feminism and made you believe that your man is oppressive and that you didn't need him. And guess what? That sounded real good. All right, and you bought it, you consumed it, you went for it, and here we are today. And now you complaining about how you can't do this on your own anymore. You need help. So she should have never brought up the so-called white woman, because that can be used and flipped right back against her. You don't forget, you got the so-called white woman tagged you along and made you leave your family. You betrayed your nation following after the serpent. And that's your fault.
White women. So if she's leaving us, she taught y'all how to be strong and independent and be for yourself as well too.
Exactly. And they learned all that following after them. Let me get this. Proverbs. That's why the scriptures say, envy not the oppressor and choose none of his ways. Y'all did that to yourself and ruined yourself in the process. Proverbs 12:26, the righteous is more excellent than his neighbor, but the way of the wicked seduceth them. See? You thought, it would benefit you, going to listen to them, and you allowed them to plant that seed in your brain. And shit went sour ever since. All right. So you can easily, try to point to the so-called white woman, but she's irrelevant. All right. You look where you're at. Look where your nation is at. All right. You're the least married. Okay.
She'll lie to you and go marry and try to get resources. So if you're following the white woman and you're going to give us credit for leaving us as well too, she's just showing you that she's doing the same thing y'all do. If y'all,
she's following us. That's what I was gonna say. She's actually following us. And another thing is, y'all black men get divorced more than all other men. Period. So I'm saying you have to put the mirror up to your.
Sure, there's more divorces in the black community, but the real question is who's filing majority of the divorces? Women. So if men look at that and like, okay, so you're telling me if I marry a black woman, there's 80% chance she's going to divorce me. What's the point of marriage again?
Yep. That's a no-brainer. Why would I do that to myself? So men are opting out. Marriage is just, it's a thing of the past here in the West. All right. It's a losing situation for the man. And, I just went on Chat GPT and just typed in, is it true that 80% of divorces are initiated by women? The claim that 80% of divorces are initiated by women is partially true, depending on the context and how the data is defined. Key points: in the U.S., around 70 to 80% of divorces are initiated by women, which is completely out of order. Completely. All right, you're bound under a husband as long as he lives. Okay. But in this world, these women get to be whores, and whore behavior gets rewarded. All right, she can be given custody of the children, alimony, which things are starting to change too, because I'm hearing that even men through the court system, they getting revenge, where some of these women got to pay their husbands, money. They got to give the husband custody. They got to pay the man child support. Some of that's starting to happen too, which is good, because they've used the system against the man for the longest. All right, a lot of men have perished, and a lot of men have pretty much lost it over women. That's in First Ezra, the 4th chapter. They didn't err, they didn't perish, and even became servants for their sake, giving everything to her, and you still not making her happy. Still find a reason to divorce you and take almost everything that you worked for. So men then caught up to this scheme. All right, this marriage scheme that women have been participating in for the last few decades. All right, so men they're avoiding marriage like a plague. All right, now it's you either with me or you not. And if you popping that woman in the eyes of the Most High, you already married, because we know what the act of consummation is. When you consummate a marriage, it's official. Two fleshed and joined together. All right. Anyway, according to several studies and data sources like the American Sociological Association, this percentage is higher among college-educated women. They're the most mind-programmed All right, the most indoctrinated women, they're definitely going to be more difficult to deal with. Because in her mind, she thinks she's more smarter. She can make more decisions. She's definitely not going to let you lead. All right. Because she's the educated one. Right. She got her degree, so she can have say so in whatever decisions for the family. And she thinks that her degree is what authorizes her. You know, she'll argue with you. So yeah, that's not a shocker to me. I'm a PhD. That's a famous soundbite. All right. It says one ASA study from 2015 found that 90% of college-educated women initiated the divorce. Yeah, they're the most indoctrinated. They filled with that Babylonian wine. You know, you can't cooperate with an intoxicated person. You know, you just can't do it. It says in cohabiting unmarried breakups, the gender split is more equal. The large difference mainly appears in legal divorces. All right, possible reasons why women initiate more divorces: higher dissatisfaction with emotional or relational dynamics. You know, you ain't spending enough time with me. You're not showing me enough attention. You know, you working too much, or, you know, it's always something. All right, and they always looking for a reason. More financial independence than in past generations. Greater willingness to leave marriages that are unequal or unfulfilling. Women tend to feel the burden of household labor. Yeah, because they're trained in their mind to think that doing wifely things, you know, having wifely duties is oppression. You know, basically, it's slavery, it's oppression. You know, you feel like you're being controlled. I ain't finna be your maid. I'm not your slave. But you're going slave for the corporation. You'll get dolled up, put makeup on, dress up, smell good, and go out there and labor and work for him. But it's a burden if you do it at home while your husband is out, you know, getting it. And childcare more acutely, which can contribute to dissatisfaction. So while the 80% figure is somewhat of a generalization, it reflects a trend that is supported by reputable data, especially in the US. All right. So I let you know that everything is out of order. That's why everything is the way it is, because it's totally out of order. All right. If the laws of the Most High was in effect, we wouldn't have this issue. So let's go to 1 Corinthians 7. And it says, verse 3, it says, let the husband render unto the wife due benevolence, and likewise also the wife unto the husband. So you're supposed to give each other due benevolence. Okay? You're not supposed to try to leverage your body for control in the marriage. And that's what a lot of these women do. They'll get into a marriage with you, and then she'll leverage her body to you in your marriage to try to control you. You know? You can't, that's, come on, man. But then if he goes out and get him another piece, he's liable to do that. Then all of a sudden, I want a divorce because you're cheating. No, this ain't a game of Scrabble or Monopoly. All right? No, if he wants to, he can have another woman. But these women trying to, you know, leverage control in the marriage using their body, you know, trying to hold out. Like I remember what was that one movie? It was based in Chicago or something like that. It was like, I don't know if it was a Tyler Perry or Spike Lee film, but a lot of women were boycotting, and they was basically trying to hold out on sex with their men. And I forget what movie they was rallying behind, but that showed you then. I'm like, wow, these women are really rebellious, you know. But it's a lot of it is like this because the turning of things upside down by the devil. Surely your turning of things upside down shall be esteemed as the potter's clay, man. Everything is in ruins. The earth is out of course. Because this man does not know how to rule. All right. There's a order for a reason. All right, which Paul laid it down. Let's go to 1 Corinthians 11. And see, you already got lied to the first time, Eve. Talking to the woman, you was lied to the first time by the same entity. All right, and it opened up that Pandora's box, and we ended up having to die. We fell from our immortal estate to being mortals because you decided to eat of that damn tree, and you still listening to him to this day, and wonder why it ain't working out so well for you. This is why in the end you're gonna find yourself all by yourself. And this is the worst time in planet history for a woman to be on her own right now. All right. So this is the order, 1 Corinthians 11:1. It says, be ye followers of me, even as I also am of the anointed. Now I praise you, brethren, that you remember me in all things and keep the ordinances as I deliver them to you. But I would have you know that the head of every man is Yahushua. This is our head. All right, we take instruction from him. All right, he's the head, so he leads. All right, he leads the church. Okay, and we're to submit to him. All right, since he's over the church, and then the head of the woman is the man, so the woman is supposed to be led by the man. See. And the head of the anointed is the Most High. So that's the order. That's the structure. Let's go to Ephesians. This is Ephesians 5. In verse 22, it says, wives, submit yourselves unto your own husbands as unto the Lord. These women, these modern feminists, they'd be appalled at that idea. Submit what? I ain't submitting to nobody. Yeah, of course you're not. You submit to your emotions. You'll submit to your lust. You submit to, your all basically anything that pertains to your feelings. You'll submit to that. All right. You'll submit to luxury. You submit to riches. You submit to, you'll submit to everything but who you're supposed to submit to. All right. And that's why a lot of you women, you're not going to make it. All right. It says, for the husband is the head of the wife, even as Yahushua is the head of the church, and he is a savior of the body. Therefore, as the church is subject unto Yahushua, so let the wives be to their own husbands in everything. All right. So that's commanded. But these women, they're not going to do that. At least not the modern Western women. All right. There's a few of you sisters out there that watch us. You're a rare few. But a lot of these women out here, it's just not so. Says the same thing, pretty much, the NLT. Let me go to the Amplified and see what it say. It is in the AMP, Ephesians 5:22, it says, wives, be subject all right, under the rule to your own husbands as a service to the Lord. All right. So you being subject to your husband is like you basically rendering service to the Lord Himself. Just like we when we say our prayers to Yahweh Shai, we're saying it to the Most High through Yahweh Shai. We serve Yahweh Shai. Ultimately, we're serving the Most High Yahweh. Okay. It says, for the husband is head of the wife, as the anointed is head of the church, himself being the savior of the body. But as the church is subject to Yahweh Shai, the anointed, so also wives should be subject to their husbands in everything, respecting both their position as protector and their responsibility to the Most High as the head of the house. All right. It says, husbands, love your wives, seek the highest good for her, and surround her with a caring, unselfish love, just as the anointed also loved the church and gave himself up for her, so that he might sanctify the church, having cleansed her by the washing of water with the word of the Most High. Okay. So, it's mutual. Okay. So going back to this scripture, 1 Corinthians 7:3 says, let the husband render unto the wife due benevolence, and likewise also the wife unto the husband. That word benevolence, eunoia, and it says kindness, euphemistically, conjugal duty, benevolence, goodwill. What does that mean? Conjugal duty refers to the responsibilities and obligations that spouses have towards each other within a marriage, encompassing both physical and emotional aspects. It includes aspects like sexual relations, companionship, support, and shared domestic duties. This concept is rooted in the idea of marriage as a union where spouses commit to mutual care and fulfillment of each other's needs. All right. So the man, he wants some, you can't be like, nah. You can't do that, man. Okay. I'm tired. I don't feel like it. Or no, I'm mad at you. So no, we not doing nothing. What? So, but she'll turn around if you ain't giving it to her, and then she'll go out there and just have another dude in her back pocket. She'll go on social media and she got options in her DM especially if she's out of order and she got images of herself, very inappropriate. Men are definitely going to be looking at her and they're going to be in her DMs. It's very easy. Social media make it very easy for adultery to happen. That's why I'd advise, brothers out there, if you do have one, a good test is to see if she'll, get off of, these social media platforms. Will she be willing to give that up? And watch how she'll be. They'll damn near have a meltdown if you ask for their phone. Shouldn't even be an issue, but anyway, it is what it is, because we in this man's kingdom. These women are gonna do what they want to do, as long as the serpent have the authority. But in our world, this ain't gonna be a thing. So, going back, verse 4 says, the wife have not power over her. The wife have not power of her own body, but the husband, and likewise also the husband have not power of his own body, but the wife. Defraud ye not one another, except it be with consent for a time, that you may give yourselves to fasting and prayer, and come together again, that Satan tempt you not for your incontinency. Okay? So these women are out of their mind, man.
You're telling me if I marry a black woman, there's a chance she's going to be just a career woman. I know the wife, she just wants the wedding. She doesn't want to be a wife. Why should I marry one again? So you're telling me after she divorces me, she's going to take me to family court, take the house, take my kids, and turn my kids against me, but still require me to pay child support? What's the point of marriage again?
Yeah, they want this shit to be all one-sided. The only thing that they offering for you is basically box. You know, box that she done already gave away to others before you got to her. That's all she's willing to give you. And you gotta you gotta give her everything else. She just gotta be there to receive, and you just gotta be there to give. When the Bible says that the man was not of the woman, but the woman is of the man, neither was the man created for the woman, but the woman for the man. They forgot their whole duty. All right? Because they let the serpent confuse them. So here we are, man.
So yeah, there's more divorces in the black community, but who files majority of those divorces? Okay, exactly, black women.
Yourself in the microscope up to yourself and see what is it with black men in particular that all races of women, y'all are more likely to be divorced than any other race of man.
What's your
Everybody.
name? What's your name? What's your name?
That is statistically.
Hold on real quick.
It's
What's your name?
It's not
No,
correct.
the
It's
sister-
not
the
correct.
sister with
Okay.
the white-
It's statistically
No, what's your name?
correct.
What's your name?
Oh.
Hold on. What's your name? Lala?
My name.
Well, one, Jake, the so-called black man, he doesn't have power in this world. He doesn't have authority. And women, one thing that keeps women in line is power. They go wherever the power is at. All right, the so-called black man, you know, the ones that are being married are the men that got some kind of resources. They might have a little money, and that's basically what she's marrying him for. Or that he can lay it down in bed good, and he might have a little money. But she gets bored of that, and she'll still leave with hopes of taking half of everything that he has. You know, these other nations, it don't fly that way. Yeah, here in the West, you know, some of them might be going through that. But for the most part, because every other nation, they're still more traditional, they don't leave their husbands. They stick with their husbands. All right. And they enjoy their resources together. Our people, the nation of Israel is under that curse. We don't have the flow of wealth. We don't have, you know, the stability that every other nation have. All right. So women tend to find more issue. So it's easier for them to leave. But wait till everything switches over when the Israelite man is lifted up. When we get that power. All right. That we're gonna be the most desired and sought after. Women ain't gonna even run through their mind a second to leave an Israelite man, because we're princes of the power. Okay? And our women in the kingdom, their minds are gonna be different. Because the Lord's gonna take away that stony heart and give us a fleshy heart. So our women are gonna be made righteous. So it won't even enter into their mind to leave their men. We're gonna hold the power, man. We're gonna rule the nations with a rod of iron. So right now on this side, we just don't have the power right now. So yeah, women are gonna leave. They're gonna, you know, these chicks are out of order. We living in a out of order society. All right, so it's gonna be this way until the missiles drop, until a new heaven and a new earth gets ushered in. But for now, these women want you to suffer. They want you to spend all your time and energy on them. All right. And even the scriptures say, you know, not to give your strength unto a woman. That's what they want. They want your soul. While you suffer, she put you through changes, and she leveraged, you know, the marriage with her body. Want you to be sexless. You out your mind. You do everything right and perfect, and she's still going to find a problem. So that's why most of you women, you're not going to make it. All right. A lot of you, and the way the Lord's setting things up is beautifully. All right. Because Trump is stripping this place from the inside out. And you people about to feel it. Wars on the brink. So a lot of men is finna get drafted. A lot of people finna be without health care. A lot of people about to lose benefits. So there's gonna be a lot of death and misery. A lot of calamity out this way. And you women, you're gonna be complaining because you're gonna be on your own. You're gonna wish that you never went for the serpent's punch bowl, jungle juice. So I'm gonna end on that note. You know, Lord willing, y'all are edified. I'm gonna give all honor, praise, and glory to Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. To the next lesson, Shalom.